Every man is capable. We've got a job to do. We've got an objective to achieve, and regardless of circumstance, it's our job to pursue and attain those objectives. And so regardless of who's available to us, regardless of what's going on, game circumstances, venue, and so forth, the level of expectation is the same.
This is the L3 Leadership Podcast, episode number 151. What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode number 151 of the L3 Leadership Podcast. My name is Doug Smith, and I'm the founder of L3 Leadership. We're a leadership development company devoted to helping you become the best leader that you can be. If you're new to this podcast, just know that we're committed to bringing you 3 or 4 episodes every single month to help you grow and develop as a leader. One episode will always be from our leadership events that we host in our city that you're welcome to attend. One will be an interview that I do with a high-level leader. And then once a month, you'll also get a leadership lesson by me. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, it would mean the world to me if you would subscribe and leave a rating and review on iTunes or whatever app you listen to podcasts in. It really does make a difference in helping us grow our audience for the podcast. So thank you in advance for that. Well, hey, everyone, in this episode, I'm so excited. You're going to get to hear my interview with Coach Mike Tomlin, coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you know me, Mike has been on my bucket list of people to interview for such a long time, and I was finally able to do it thanks to my friends and sponsors of this episode, the Urban Impact Foundation. Urban Impact's a ministry that my wife and I have been supporting for many years. They're based out of the north side of Pittsburgh, and I love their vision. Listen to their vision statement. Our vision and desire is to see lives holistically transformed in our community, one person, one family, and one block at a time, who in turn make a powerful impact locally and globally for Jesus Christ. And all they do is they provide programming for inner city students, and their goal is to have every kid graduate, which this year they had 100% of their students graduate high school, which is incredible. It's the first time they've been able to say 100% have graduated. But their goal is to have everyone that graduates high school and graduates their program to go into one of several things, whether that's college, trade school, ministry, military, and so forth. And they do that by providing programs like athletics, performing arts, and many other things, education. They're just doing an incredible work. I can't encourage you to check them out enough. You can go to uifpgh.org to check out their work. That's uifpgh.org. And one thing that they've launched about 5 years ago is a one-day conference called Man Up. And let me just read you about Man Up, because this is where the event that I got to interview Mike at. Man Up encourages and teaches men to be godly leaders for their family and raises awareness of the detrimental impact of fatherlessness among today's youth. Prominent local pastors join the mission each year to lead breakouts, including sessions specifically targeted toward young adults, coaches, veterans, fathers, and husbands. It's an incredible conference. Coach Tomlin partners with Man Up every single year. And again, I encourage you, if you live in Pittsburgh, make sure you go to the Man Up conference. And again, you can check all this out at Urban Impact's website. I also just want to quickly thank our media sponsors, Voyage Visuals. They're a video production company that produces world-class videos by helping clients tell their stories. If you're looking for someone to do your video work for your company, check them out at voyagevisuals.com. Now for the interview. He doesn't need much of an introduction, but Mike Tomlin was named the 16th head coach in Pittsburgh Steelers history on January 22nd, 2007, and he's been doing a phenomenal job since. He's a Super Bowl champion and so forth. In this interview, you're going to get to hear us talk about mentoring, coaching, leadership, and so much more. Enjoy the interview with Coach Tomlin. Hey, Mike, thank you so much for your time today. We're here at Man Up Pittsburgh, put on by Urban Impact. Really, the whole point of the conference is to impact fatherless kids. So I'm just curious, you were impacted by fatherlessness. Can you talk to the 15 to 20-year-old Mike Tomlin or kids going through the same thing? What would you say to them at this point in their life?
You know, and I'm glad you asked that, because what I'm aware of now that I really wasn't aware of then is I had a lot of great godly fathers that were in my life in a surrogate sort of way. My grandfather was a big impact, godly impact on me. My stepdad was a big godly impact on me. I had a lot of coaches in all the sports that I played that provided great fatherly leadership and mentorship for me. And I wasn't necessarily cognizant of that as a young guy. Like a lot of people in that space, I was more focused on what I didn't have, which is a relationship with my biological dad, that I was so caught up in that I didn't realize the great blessings that I had in my life, the men that were positive influences. And I think the older that I've gotten, I've become more appreciative of those things and cognizant of those things. And that's why I do what I do at events such as this to pay it forward.
Yeah, it's so good. you also have the opportunity to influence a ton of young men through being a coach now. Now you're on the other side. I'm curious, what are some of the characteristics and traits that you try to instill in those young men coming under your influence, and how do you specifically do that?
I just want to make them cognizant of the platform that they have and how it can be a platform for ministry, for things that are important to them, to invoke positive influence in their communities and the people that they touch. More than anything, I think the biggest gift that you can give someone that you're around in the space that I'm around, the young men that I'm in, that it's a tremendous opportunity. With that is responsibility. Because there is a platform they can utilize for a lot of good.
That's awesome. I heard you say one time at a conference, people always ask you, how did you become coach of the Steelers? And you always say, man, God had a bigger plan for my life than I did. And really, when you were young, as big as you could dream was holding the wires for your high school coach, I think you said. What do you want people to know about your journey to where you are now that they may not know?
That I've been helped and impacted by a lot of people. Yes, there's a lot of hard work and dedication. I've been just tremendously blessed to have come across the people that I've been able to come across and to be impacted in the ways I've been impacted and educated and mentored. And that's what it's all about. I think a lot of us have aptitudes in the spaces that we work and maybe potential, but a lot of people help you awaken those aptitudes and those potentials. And I've benefited greatly from that. And I want to do everything that I can to help others chase their dreams.
That's great. A few quick questions on coaching.
Yeah.
I know one of your famous sayings is the standard's the standard. And I'm just curious, where did that originate from? And why is that so impactful? And how do you play that out in your life?
I made it up. I can actually say I made that one up. I just hate seeking comfort. And comfort being identified as adversity that the game of football presents or the game of life presents. And for me, it's so easy to get caught up in why you're not successful. And I just always want to reiterate to our guys that every man is capable. We've got a job to do. We've got an objective to achieve. And regardless of circumstance, it's our job to pursue and attain those objectives. And so regardless of who's available to us, regardless of what's going on, game circumstances, venue, and so forth, the level of expectation is the same. And I embrace that. It's a difficult thing to embrace from time to time, but it's something that I embrace. It's something that I want our guys to embody.
I love that. What do you wish, or what did you learn about leadership and becoming a coach that you wish you would have known when you were a player? Right?
Hey, I'm a much more patient coach than I was a player. I enjoyed the simplicity of not having to worry about anything but myself. But this job has challenged me not only to get out of that line of thinking, but to put those that you serve first. And that's the type of leadership traits I try to embody. I've grown exponentially over the years, and a lot of it's had to do with the responsibilities of the coaching role, and that's why I'm just so indebted to the profession and want to give back in the ways that I do.
That's awesome. Two more questions. One, I'm curious, how do you handle criticism and praise? 1 minute you're the town's hero, the next minute they want you out. How do you deal with all that comes with coaching?
I don't. I subscribe to the audience of one. I really do. And like I was just telling the group earlier, particularly the professional praise and criticism, I've been fortunate over the years to work for men like Coach Dungy, who really have, confidence properly placed, that real humility that's allowed me to weather some of those things and really provided a blueprint for me in terms of ways to deal with what you're suggesting.
That's great. And then last question, how can people listening to this pray for you, support you, get involved with Urban Impact and what they're doing through Man Up? How can we best serve you as coach of the Steelers?
I appreciate that thought, and really more than anything, just be thoughtful about the young people that you come in contact with in your routine day-to-day life, and to be cognizant of the issue of fatherlessness, and that if we as a community or a society aggressively attack it, man, we're aggressively attacking a lot of issues that are byproducts of that. And I know that's something that I do, whether it's the opportunity I get a chance to come across young people in my job, or the chance I get to come across young people as I parent. I just try to make a conscious effort of those opportunities to get to know them, to maybe find out what their hopes and dreams are, and see if I can be helpful in some way.
That's awesome. Any last advice you want to leave young leaders?
Hey, have a hardcore plan, but be light on your feet. I think that's one of the legitimate lessons that I've learned over the years. There's no substitute for preparation, but you can't be so married to your plan that you can't see the forest for the trees. Sometimes new variables are presented to all of us, and it's our job to adjust. So I would encourage young leaders to be thoughtful about their plan, to write it down, to be as detailed as they can be, but don't be so married to that plan that they can't make the necessary adjustments that life sometimes throws our way.
So good. Thank you for your time and everything you do for our community.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know it.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening to my interview with Coach Tomlin. You can find ways to connect with him and Urban Impact and everything that they're doing at l3leadership.org/episode 151. A few things before we wrap up. I want to let you know that we recently introduced L3 Leadership membership. That's right, for just $25 a month, you can now become a member of L3 Leadership. And what that'll get you is it'll get you into all of our breakfast events for free, a free L3 Leadership t-shirt, access to joining a mastermind group, and access to our member-only site filled with extra content, resources, and courses to help your leadership go to the next level. For more information on membership, go to l3leadership.org/membership. I also want to thank our sponsor, Bab Inc., who are an insurance broker, third-party administrator, and consulting firm based out of Pittsburgh, but they do business all over the country, and they're led by my friend Russell Livingston, and he loves and is passionate about developing next-generation leaders, so much so that they host our monthly leadership breakfast to invest in our community. So we're so grateful for them. If your organization has any insurance needs, make sure you check out Bab Inc. at babbins.com. That's babbins.com, babbins.com. Lastly, if you want to stay up to date with everything that we're doing here at L3 Leadership, you can simply sign up for our email list on our website at l3leadership.org, and you'll also get a free copy of my ebook, Making the Most of Mentoring, which is my step-by-step process for how I get meetings with leaders. Again, just a reminder, if this podcast added value to your life, we'd really appreciate if you would subscribe and leave a rating and review. It does make a difference. And as always, I like to end with a quote, and I'm just going to quote Mike Tomlin, who he's already said this, but I just love the quote. Hey, the standard is the standard, baby. Mike Tomlin. Thanks for listening and being a part of L3 Leadership. Laura and I appreciate you so much, and we will see you next episode.